Hey, what's up everyone, this is Adhika Badar from Extra Coding YouTube channel. So friends, in today's video, we're gonna learn some advanced functions. Okay, so all the things that we used to do manually, we're gonna use them effectively using advanced functions now. So first function is enumerate function. Enumerate function. So this function is basically used for checking the index. Okay, so when we used for loop, we used to see that the suppose we have written for I in, suppose we have any list L, wait a second, and inside this we have 1 2 3 4 5, right? And for I in L, so every time the loop will work, I will assign a new value, that is 1 2 3 4 and 5. If we have strings here, say hi, hello, right? Something like this, world. Okay, so let's remove this. So now in this, I will assign a new value every time. That is, first it will assign hi, then it will assign hello, then it will assign world. Okay, but if you want to check what is the position of the I, the current value of I, suppose the current value of I is world. Okay, and if we want to check what is the position, so we used to do it something like this. Suppose we have x which is equals to 0 right now, then we write print. Here let's use f string, and here let's write x equals to, and here let's write the I, and we will write x plus equals to 1. So every time it will increase one value. So at first the value of this is 0, so x is 0 which is equals to hi. Okay, now the value of x will increase, then again the loop will work, so the value of I will be hello, and as the value was increased, so now the x will be 1, right? So it will work something like this. But now if we do it using enumerate function, see, here we can just write for I comma j in L, print f string. Here we will write I is equals to j. Okay, so now let's run our program. Sorry, here we have to write enumerate, the main function I forgot, sorry. Enumerate L. Okay, so it should be for I in j, for I comma j in enumerate L. So as you can see, this is the output of this code, and this one is the output of the second code, this one, the one which we did using enumerate function. As you can see both of them are same, right? So as you are seeing that this code is more effective than this code, right? So this was enumerate function. One thing you need to remember is when you are writing for I comma j or you can take any other value as well, suppose a comma b, or you can also write pos comma value, right? So here value, right? You can write anything, see, right? So here one thing you need to remember is whatever you will write at the first place, like as you can see, pos is written before the comma, so it will be the one which will contain the position, okay? And the second one which will be written after the comma will be the one which will contain the values, okay? So that this was enumerate function. So now let's move to map function. Map function. So map function is used to iterate. Iterate means like we do in for loop. Like first the value of I will be high, right? And then the value of I will be hello. And then the value of I will be world. It is taking the value one by one, as you can see, right? So this is called iterating. Okay? So map function does the same thing. We will learn more about iterators and iterables in my upcoming videos. So for now, just know that map function is used to iterate. Like we iterate over a list using for loop, it is the same thing, right? Suppose if I make a function define sq, and here I take a parameter, okay? Now I return a 2, okay? So it is squaring, okay? Now if I print map, okay, here first I will give the name of the function sq, and then let's make a list here. So L1 is equals to, or just write num, okay? And here we will give the name of the list num. Now let's run our program. See, it is map object at this, okay? So here what we can do is we can store it in a variable. So here let's write output and let's print the output, okay? See, okay, so first let's just comment all these things out so that it's clear to you. And here let's change it to list, okay? Now let's see 1 4 9 16 25, here are the squares, okay? But now one more thing, as you have defined a function here, you do not need to define it. You can use lambda function here. So let's remove it, delete it, and here instead of sq, here we will write lambda, and then we will write a, that's a parameter, and then what it will return is a square. See, it is working. And here if you want you can just print it here also. See, right? So as you can see here, we have used map. So what is it actually doing is, here's the function, okay, and here's the num, that is the list. So it is iterating over the list, like 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, so first it takes 1 from the list and send it to the function. So here the value of a is 1, and then it squares the 1, this 1, it squares it and makes it a part of the list, as you can see. Okay, now after that, here we have 2, then map iterates over the list and takes 2 and sends to the function. Now the value of a is 2, so 2 is squared and now it is a part of list, and so on. So it iterates till 5, and at the end the value of a is 5 and the 5 is squared, that is 25, and it is a part of list. So that's how it is created. But now some of you will think that we can also do it using list comprehension. So yeah, you can do it, but it's up to you whether you want to use map function or you want to use list comprehension. So using list comprehension, we will write it something like this. So here we will print, and here we will write it something like this, and then I 2, and here we will write for I in num. Okay, so if I run it, see, it is working the same way. So this was using map function, and this was using list comprehension. Okay, so to make map function more clear, I will do the same task using for loop. Okay, as we did earlier, as you used to do earlier. So if we will do it using for loop, here what we have to do is, here first we have to make a function. So def sq, or let's do not make the function, let's just simply write it. So for I in num. Okay, and after this we'll write print, or let's append it to the list, right, as we are doing with all of them. So let's append it in the list. So l dot append. Okay, so here we will append I 2. Okay, so now if I run it, okay, I haven't print the L first, so print L. See, all of them are working the same way, right? So here, as you can see here, for loop is the one which is iterating over the num, that is our list. Okay, so all the things that this for loop is doing here, that we did using map function in a single line. That's why we use map function, because it is more effective. Okay, so hope it's clear. So this one is a normal method. Normal method. Okay, using for loop. So this was map function. Now let's move to the filter method. Okay, so here it is, filter method. So here, if I have a function, define even, okay, and here I have a parameter, okay. Here we will write return a more 2 is equals to 0, okay. So it will return either true or false. Here now we will write filter, and first we will give the function name even, and then we will give, let's take this num list only, okay, num, okay. Now if I print it like this only, you'll see that it will just give me the location of, you can see, filter object location, okay. So I have to change it into some another data type. So list, see, 2 and 4, here only 2 and 4 are the even numbers, right? You can also change it to tuple or set, right? But I prefer list because I'm more comfortable with it, okay. So here, as you know that in map function used to iterate over the list, right? But here filter is not iterating, it is sending the whole list to this even, okay. And the values which are true are there in my list, in this list that is getting printed. So filter function filters the numbers using this function, okay. So now here also we do not need to write even, or we do not have to write this function, we can use lambda function. So lambda a, and here we will just write a more 2 is equals to 0, and that's it. So now if I run it, you'll see it is working the same way as it was earlier. So I hope that filter and map function are clear to you. So now I want to tell you one thing about them that's common in both. You can loop over filter and map function only once. So let's, if I remove it, list, okay, and here let's store it in a variable, say my var, okay. Now if I loop over my var, so for I in my var print I, okay. So as you can see it is looping and there are two values in different lines, as you can see. But if I run the same code again, see, copy and paste, okay. So now see, it is working only once, right? But if I change it into a list, you'll see that it is working 2 times, right? So you need to remember that we can iterate over list, tuple, sets many times, but we can only iterate once on filter function and map function. We are able to iterate on them, but we are able to iterate on them only once, okay. So you need to remember that. So hope it's clear, okay. Now let's move to zip function. So here next function is zip function. Suppose if I have some list, so let's say user, okay, so user 1, okay, okay, user 2 and user 3. Okay, now I have another list, names. Okay, so here Adrika, Anika, Sia. Okay, now if I use zip function, so zip user with names. Okay, if I print it like this only, so it will only give the iterator. See, right? So here I have to change it into list, let's say. See, user 1 Adrika, user 2 Anika, user 3 Sia. Okay, so there's a list, and inside these lists we have 3 tuples, right? And inside these tuples we have the values. Okay, suppose if I remove one value here, okay, see, the third value along with user 3 has been removed. Okay, so zip function zips 2 or more list, means it combines 2 or more list. So it will combine all the values that you have passed of the list. Okay, so if you have passed 3 lists, so it will combine all the values at first position of all the 3 lists. So okay, as you have seen that you have passed 2 lists here, so it will combine the first values of first position of both the list as it is doing here. Then it will combine the value of second position of both the list, and if it does not get any value to combine with the last position, as you can see here user 3 is the last position and there's no value to combine it with any other value, so it will get totally removed. It will not be there in the list, right? So here let's write it again. Okay, now if I have another, let's say age, okay, now we have 14, 4, and here it is 3. Okay, so we haven't zipped it yet, so here let's write age also. See, user 1 Adrika and 14, user 2 Anika and 3, user 3 Sia and 3. Okay, so this is how we use zip function. We can combine as many lists as we want. Okay, so here the values of first position are in one tuple, the values of second position are in second tuple, and the values of third position are in third tuple. Okay, here also you need to remember that iterator can be used only once on zip function, but as we have converted it into list, as you can see here, we can now iterate over it as many times as we want. Okay, so right, that was zip function. But wait, there's one more thing in zip function. Suppose if you have a list, okay, and in this you have some tuples. Let's say 1, 2, then we have, oh sorry, 3, 4, then we have 5, 6, and then we have 7, 8, and 9, 10. Okay, now if we use zip function over this, so how can we use it? Here just print zip my list. Okay, and here you have to convert it into a list, and here you have to put a star operator. So this will unpack the list. This will unpack the list, and then it will be 1, 2 a single tuple, 3, 4 another tuple, 5, 6 another tuple, 7, 8 another tuple, 9, 10 another tuple. Okay, so as we can do it on list, we can also do it on tuples. Okay, so here as we have some tuples, so now what will happen? It will take the first position of all the tuples. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And then it will take second position of all the tuples. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So let me show it to you. See, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So hope this is clear. So right, that was zip function. Hope it is clear to you. So now let's move to any and all function. Any and all function. Okay, so first look at all function. Okay, so here first see, so first see so now let's move to any and all function. So all and any function. Okay, so friends, all function returns true when all the values are true. So suppose if I have a list that has true, 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 true. Okay, so I have a list in which all the values are true. If I use all on it, okay, and let's print it. So you'll see that it will return true, right? Because all the values are true. But even if a single value is false, it will return false. Suppose, let me change this value to false. See, it will return false because one value is false. So in case of all function, all the values should be true. Okay, suppose if I have a list my list 1, or let's write even 1. Okay, now if I have a list 2, 4, 6, 8, 0, or you can say 10. Okay, now if I check whether all the values are true or not, now if I check whether all the values are even or not, so if they are even, this should be true. If they are not even, it should be false. Okay. Now here, let's make a list E that should be empty. And then let's use for here. For I in even 1. Okay. Now, here we will append E dot append I mod 2 is equals to 0. So it is a type of condition. If it will be true, then true will be appended to it. If it will be false, then false will be appended to it. So here let's just print E to show you how it is working. See, all are true, right? And now if I print all E like this, so the value will be true, right? Because all the values are even. And in case of E, all the values are true. That's why it is returning true, right? Now let's do this using list comprehension. Okay, so let's comment this one out, and here we will use list comprehension. So we will use all, and inside it we will pass a list. Here we will write I because we want I to get appended. I mod 2 is equals to 0. So this is the condition that we want to get appended. So if this condition is true, then the value true will be get appended. Okay. But if condition is false, false will get appended to the list. Okay. Now we will use for loop for I in even 1. Right. Now let's just print it. See, it is returning true, right? Because all the values are even, and thus all the true values have been appended to this list. Okay. Now if I add one more value 3 to it, you'll see now it will return false because there's one value that is false in this list. That's why it is returning false. So hope it is clear to you. So here let's write all returns true if all values are true. Okay. Now let's move to any function. Now, as you know that all function returns true only when all the values are true. But any function returns true even if a single value is true. So, sorry. Okay. Now, here, let's take this, or let's make another one. So now let's make a list odd 1. Okay. Now here, let's write 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay. And in between, let's add an odd number. Okay. So now here, if I use this only, let's copy it and paste it here. and here let's write not equal to 0. Okay, so if it is not equal to 0, then it will append true, but if it is equal to 0, then it will append false, right? So now here we are printing all O, so it will return true. Okay, so here we will write any. Okay, so let me show you. Wait a second, let's just first print O here. Okay, see, all of them are false, right? Okay, so the thing is here we have to write odd one, right? So see, there's one true here, right? Now if we write any and O here, so you'll see that it will return true because there's a single value that is true. There's one value that is true. So as I told you, it will return true even if a single value is true. So there's a value that is 5 that is true in the case of odd one. So that's why it is returning true. Okay, now let's use it. Let's run it using list comprehension. Okay, so here let's write any, and here let's write not equals to, and here what we have to write is odd. So you'll see that both of them are giving the same output, right? So right, that was any and all method. Hope it is clear to you. Now let's look at what are docstrings and what is help function. Okay, so docstrings and help function. Okay, so here what are docstrings? So docstrings are strings that help the user to find out what a particular function does. Okay, suppose if you make a function define, and here you are add a b. Okay, and here you return a plus b. Okay, so if you want to write a docstring, you can write it like this. So here this function adds two numbers. Okay, and here wait a second, yeah, so this is the way you write docstrings. Okay, so whenever user accesses your docstring, so he or she will be able to find out that what the particular function does. Suppose if I want to access this function's docstring, so what I can do is print add the function name dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. This will give me the docstring. See, this function adds two numbers, right? So we have used many functions so far. They are length, sort, sorted, min, max, sum, and list, tuple, set, dictionary. There are many functions that we have used so far, and all of them uses docstring. They all of them have their own docstring. So here, if I print sum dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore, so you'll see that there's a docstring of sum. When iterable is empty, return the start value. This function is intended specifically for use with numerical values and may reject non-numeric types, right? So obviously some functions reject non-numeric types because they cannot be added. So that's what this function's docstring says. Okay. Now let's see what is help function. So help function is used to get help. Suppose if you forget that what a particular function does, or if you want to know what a particular function does, you can use help function. So here print sum dot, sorry, here we have to write it like this, help and sum, like this. Okay. So as you can see here, see. So as you can see here, it is written return start value default plus iterable of numbers, and it is same, right? So you can get help as well. So right, that's it for today's video. These all were the advanced function. Hope they all are clear to you. So but if you have still any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section. And guys, please follow my blog as well. I'll give the link in the description box. Okay, you can check out my blog as well. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.